4 major lessons I learned in my 20s and 30s that I wish I'd known earlier. And the first one is, you don't need to wait for confidence or clarity to get started. I always thought that the issue wasn't whether or not I could do something, but the fact that I didn't feel confident. And I needed to feel confident, otherwise I would likely fail. But if I didn't feel confident, and I couldn't figure out how to find confidence, then I had to guarantee that whatever I was going to do was going to 100% work out. But when that 100% clarity never came, I just felt stuck. But I realized that confidence only comes after doing difficult things. But when you do something for the first time, it's more than likely that you're going to fail at it. And if you're inevitably going to fail at something, why not fail faster? Fail faster, get data faster, and then course correct faster. And you don't need confidence to fail at something. And if you fail a lot, you'll learn a lot and you'll build a clear understanding of how to actually succeed. You don't find confidence and then get started. You get started and then you find confidence along the way from all the decisions that you make. What matters more than confidence is your ability to trust that you can course correct. That way, when things don't work out, you can learn from it and figure it out. Okay, so most advice isn't wrong, it's just not for you. One of the biggest mistakes that I made was I went to so many different people for advice. I always thought that the more perspectives that I got, the better it would help me. But it didn't. Because if you ask multiple people for advice, you will be stuck in an endless cycle of contradicting opinions. Eventually, I realized that the most advice people give will steer you towards their goals, not yours. Because often the advice that people give is based on their values, not yours. There's no one who understands your values more than you do. So when you ask for advice, you're taking a step away from your values, and the advice that you receive is also out of alignment with where you want to be. The problem is when you have no idea what you want, it is very tempting to ask other people for advice. But probably what you want is clarity. And if you're lacking clarity, no one can give that to you. Clarity comes from understanding yourself and figuring out what your values are. What I learned is when I find myself wanting to ask people for advice, it usually means that I lack some clarity on my values, and I shouldn't be outsourcing that to other people. I should be spending some time to reflect and to figure out what those values might be. The next thing that I realized is that discomfort is not a problem. What matters is how you react to it. I used to be too afraid of doing so many different things because either I felt anxious about it or I was afraid of being judged. I used to think that I had to fix my feeling first before I could do something. I wasn't going to go to the gym for the first time until I felt comfortable about going to the gym for the first time. The reality is this never made my worries or my fear of judgment go away. It just meant I never went to the gym. But then I realized that comfort comes from getting used to a constant feeling of discomfort. Because often you can't avoid feeling uncomfortable, but you can just get used to it. When your body feels uncomfortable, what's happening is your body is just unfamiliar with something and it doesn't feel safe. But the only way to train your body to feel safe about something is to go do that thing, expose yourself to it several times, and your body will learn in hindsight, like, oh, we did this and we were fine. It's safe. So going back to my gym example, what I did was I got a friend to go to the gym with me. That made it just a little bit more comfortable for me to go. And then I went there with them. They showed me their workout and I just followed along with them. And then after that, I went to the gym by myself and I did the exact same workout that we did together. And then when I got comfortable doing that at the gym by myself, I started to experiment with my own exercises. And as I got more comfortable with that, eventually I got to a point that it didn't matter what I did in the gym because I was fine. I was comfortable being there. But I didn't just go from 0 to 100. What I did was I introduced a little discomfort gradually, step by step, until the overall process became very comfortable and familiar to me. I also noticed when I faced discomfort in one area of my life, my discomfort tolerance in all areas of my life also improved. So now if I feel uncomfortable about doing something, but I know it's something that I really want to do, I just do it anyway. I don't try to get around that feeling of discomfort. The best growth that I experienced wasn't from moments where I felt comfortable. It was actually from all those moments that I chose to take action despite feeling uncomfortable. And then the final thing I realized is that there's no such thing as being behind in life. I'm in my 30s. I'm not married. I don't own a house. And my career history sometimes looks a lot more like a 5-year-old scribble drawing than an upward career trajectory. So I often felt behind. But when I look back at all of the decisions that I made at the time that I made it, and all of the knowledge that I had at that time when I made that decision, I feel that all of these decisions were the best decisions that I could have made at that time for myself. So I was actually frustrated at the outcomes, but not necessarily the path that led me to those outcomes, which made the problem very obvious. In fact, my outcomes are probably midway to somewhere that I actually want to be. But the problem is that I'm benchmarking my outcomes against someone who probably wants very different things from me. So I realized that feeling of being behind came from unfair comparison. I'm not behind because I'm just going a totally different direction. I realized that I had to accept that I had to stop looking at other people for answers about where my life is going to go. What matters most is making sure that I'm making decisions along the way that align with my values, and just trust that doing that will take me where I'm meant to be.